Aloha y bienvenidos to Latin Connection. I'm Richard Concepcion. Today's program is about Thomas MacKay. He is an international vibraphonist, a composer, educator, and the owner of Vibra Cubana. I want to say welcome, bienvenidos to Latin Connection.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's start by telling me a little bit about yourself. What got you motivated to become a vibraphonist?
I came from a musical family. My mom is a piano teacher. Grandparents were into music. Started at a very young age, continued in college, and discovered the vibraphone and mallet percussion in college my first year, and fell in love with it. Before that, I was playing piano as a young kid, and drum set, guitar, anything I could come up with. But when I got to college, I found the vibraphone and marimba and all that. So that's really where I came about. So you was
no forcing to the music, so you just discover everything.
The vibraphone was one of those instruments that I could play a melody, but I could hold sticks, and I could hit it. So it was like, wow, okay, I think I can do this.
That's good, because a lot of people are forcing into the music because the parent wanted them to play some kind of music, and they're forcing into it, so you wasn't forcing to music. So
yeah, it was in my blood.
That's in your blood. That's great.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about your first and second album. In 2013, you have an album called Jackson, and the other one was Here That Rainy Day. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that.
Well, 2013, I had about a 10-year period. I toured for about 4 or 5 years, 2000 to about 2008. And because of health problems, I had to quit touring and actually couldn't hold the mallets anymore. So it was a 10-year period there where I didn't play any percussion. I kind of turned myself into a Hammond organ B3 player and played piano, because that's really the only thing that my hands could do. I couldn't even play like a regular acoustic piano. And then I got diagnosed with celiac disease, which was something that I had all my life.
And so you just didn't know?
But I didn't know. I didn't, I didn't know what was going on. And then at 45 years old, it just kind of hit me, and got tested, found out what it was, which was really the blessing for me, because 2 weeks after being on the diet, my inflammation in my hands were literally like that. I couldn't hold.
So almost ended your career.
Yeah, it was literally. I sold my vibraphone, sold my mallets, knew that I wasn't going to be able to play anymore. And 2 weeks after, the inflammation started going down, and that was about 2012. And I practiced really hard for a year. We bought another vibraphone. I got back into the swing of things, and was very fortunate that one of the fellows that was in our neighborhood was a doctor, and he was also had celiac disease, but he also had a studio, and he liked what he heard with me, and he liked my journey and my story, and he invited me down to his studio to record. And I didn't really know what I wanted to record, but I knew that I had all this library of original material that had been, since 1987 in college, but had never been recorded. I didn't know if it was going to be, album worthy or whatever. I just wanted to record it, and we ended up with Jackson, the MacKay project, and that was born. And the album, we used local musicians for the album, and I dedicated the album name is Jackson. And that was named after a mentor of mine who I met when I was in college. He was actually, his name was Jack Cockman, and he was actually the janitor at the music department.
Oh, wow.
But he would always come in, and I'd be playing something in the practice room, and I was having trouble with the bridge of the tune. I couldn't get it. And he'd come back and hear me, and finally knocked on the door and said, "Hey, can I come in and play?" I was 20, 28 years old.
So you didn't know that he can play?
Yeah, I had no idea that he could play, but he played like Art Tatum. He was totally professional, and I was just, okay, I hung out at his place for the next 5 years.
Nice.
And he mentored, and so that album I dedicated to him.
Well, tell me about you moving into Hawaii in 2015, and you decided to start the Vibra Cubana. What was the whole purpose, and what got you motivated to start Vibra Cubana here in Hawaii? And why that name, Vibra Cubana?
Well, actually, Vibra Cubana, my wife and I came out here in 2012 or 2013.
Okay.
And to promote Jackson and Here's That Rainy Day. And we fell in love with the area, we fell in love with the people, and moreover, I fell in love with the students. I did a workshop at New Valley Middle School.
Okay, so you're an educator as well, right?
Yeah. And so I got ingrained in the community, and I knew that there was something here that wasn't at home. So the next year, at the last day that we were here, I went to Harry's drum shop, which is no more, but Harold Chang, it was the drummer of Arthur Lyman, and he laid a recording on me, and I fell in love with that music, and I wanted to bring that back here. So 2014, I formed Vibra Cubana in Oregon with some people there, and we started putting the book together, and by the time we came over here, I already had the book. And we just needed to come over here and find the musicians and realize it, really. So when we first came here, I started playing at a place in Manoa called Medici's. And we played there every Friday, every third Friday for about a year and a half, and started building a following. And other little places, you know.
So how hard was for you to reorganize the group to get all the musicians to become part of the group?
It was really easy, actually, because there's so many good musicians
right?
there.
Hawaii, right?
There's a plethora of really great musicians here, and I basically just called people that I knew that could play and that would want to do it, and had the right spirit. You know, I wasn't sure. You know, I didn't even know them, really personally. I said, I knew you know how to play, so let's do this gig. And so there's been quite a few people in the band in the last couple of years.
Tell me about what members you have right now within the group.
Right now, I have on piano Tommy James, who is a real fixture of this scene. He's the director of the Duke Ellington Orchestra, and he does a lot of other arranging. He's really, I would say, my mentor here. You know, he really helps me and steers me in the right direction. When I make a wrong chart or something like that, he slaps me on the hand, you know.
That's good. It's good mentorship.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And he's been there, done that. So he's been the longest standing member. Currently, I have Boba Bateras on percussion. I have Scott Schaefer on drums. And a newcomer to the island, Ian Sheridan, who just moved here from Seattle.
Wow.
So that's the larger group.
So what musician up there influenced you? Like, I know you had a tribute to Arthur Lyman. What other musician beside him, you know, had influence in your career?
When I first started hearing, when I started first getting into jazz and getting into vibes, it was Milt Jackson.
Okay.
But when I was a little kid, my dad bought me a Buddy Rich album. And there was a small group on one side and a large big band on the other. And I was always drawn to the small group. And my dad always thought that the vibe player on there was Lionel Hampton. But when I got older, I found out that it was Mike Maneri, who was, when I got into college, was one of the guys that I struck resonance in me. You know, like this is, you know, I was studying his music, and now I've talked to him for like 3 or 4 years over the internet.
Wow.
And kind of got to know him. You know, he has celiac disease the same way, so we actually talk about health more than music, you know, so, but it's a good thing. As far as Latin music, Cal Jader is probably the most important vibraphonist as far as with Latin music. There's others, but they've all kind of been patterned after him. And then, of course, bringing the Hawaii vibe back with Arthur Lyman.
Is the main mission for Vibra Cubana, or just part of the Vibra Cubana bringing his music back?
It's kind of twofold, because one of the main focuses, there's two books. There's the Afro-Cuban book, the Latin book, which is more Caljader, my arrangements, my tunes, that kind of thing. I write that way. But then there's the significant part of Arthur Lyman's legacy. And that has a separate book, and we combine both, depending on where we play.
So what is the place that you play the most? You just go around the island, you have different locations, you have a specific location that you plan once a week or twice a week or once a month?
Right now, we did, like I mentioned, the Medici's in Manoa. For a year and a half, we were there to 2015, I think, to 2016. And we decided to switch venues. We've played at the Elks Club. I partnered with Edward Holes with Hawaii Fun Promotions, and he's opened a lot of doors for me, being 40 years on the island and a businessman. He's opened up doors with the Elks Club, where Arthur used to play. So it was iconic. Arthur used to store his vibraphone there. So there's a picture of him there. So it was, for me, it was to bring his music back there was the right place to start, we brought the group to the Royal Hawaiian Center Shopping Center, Ward's Rafters, which is a house concert kind of thing, Jazz Minds one time. But we've kind of floated around. We're trying to find the right venue where we can call home. And that hasn't found us yet, but it will soon.
So what is coming out for Vibra Cubana?
Like in the next week on September 16th, which is Mexican Independence Day, if I understand right. We're going to be at Mexico Fiesta in Hawaii Kai, which I believe they just opened. It's a new location.
It's a new location, yes.
And that will be there with the trio, with a new bass player and Bobo and myself. Bobo on percussion and myself. And then on the 15th, we'll be at the
Royal Festival.
No. On the 14th, we'll be at the Royal Hawaiian.
Hawaii, okay.
Shopping center in the foyer, underneath the tree and all that.
Nice.
And then on the 15th is the Hispanic Heritage Festival.
Busy.
Yep, and I can say that there's possibly an appearance in October at the Blue Note Waikiki.
All right.
With the larger group.
Let me know so I can come and watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
So you just played for NPR, right? A couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, that was
Talk to me about
2 weeks ago. Yeah. That was probably one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had. They run a really good program there. Everything is very professional. We get a recording out of it because they don't, they mic everything up to be able to record, not as a PA. It's a beautiful hall. They have a huge Bosendorfer piano, which for any piano player, Tommy loves to play that thing.
Yeah, I've been there. I've seen it. It's beautiful. I don't play no music, but it's a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, and the audience, we sold it out. There were 75, the capacity is 70, and I think we had 75 people there.
Wow.
And it's been a while, 2 days before I get the call, and it's always nice to say, hey, 2 days before you're sold out, and we actually had to turn people away.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, so.
Well, I remember the day that you called me, hey, Richard, I'm so-and-so, I would like to do this, and I went, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to be listening, brand new Vibra Cubana.
Yeah.
Because, we have many musicians around and they all have different style, and it's wonderful to see you coming in with, different style, different rhythm, different music, so it's great. But let's talk about you being an educator. So you teach different instrument, or you only concentrate on the vibraphone?
I have one student from military student that studies vibes with me. I'm endorsed by a couple companies, Malitech percussion, or Malitech mallets and vibraphone instruments. And I'm an endorsed clinician through there, so I try to go out and do other like colleges and things like that. But locally, I teach piano to some young kids, and I teach drums to young kids, and it's very rewarding. I go to Fort Shafters on Tuesdays, and I do the security check, and I go there, and I have one student was one block, and then I go to another student for another block. So it's just Tuesday, it's Fort Shafter Day.
That's really nice. Let me ask you, this instrument, the vibraphone, right? In your personal opinion, what do you think about the future of that instrument? Because you see a lot of people say, well, I prefer to play the piano, or I want to do the conga, I want to do the trump. Do you think that instrument is going to survive sometime in the future?
There's a lot of young musicians out that are playing the instrument. Not so much on the West Coast, but on the East Coast and in Europe, there's quite a few young, really fine players that make us older guys have to practice. And it's a friend of mine by the name of Tony Maselli, who's in Philadelphia. He started doing Skype lessons and started having a lot of internet lessons and students in all over the world. And once he got that generated, he now goes and does clinics all over the world. So it's it's not really, I wouldn't say it's lacking, but it's a very odd instrument. You don't see, you don't get a call from a rock band. You don't have a rock band saying, what we're missing is we're missing a vibraphone. It's like, it's a very unique instrument to come by. But once you start playing, it's infectious, and then you just can't stop.
Wow, that's wonderful. So I would like to know if you can give us a demonstration, about how you play the vibraphone.
Yeah.
All right. So
I happen to bring it.
You brought it in, so let's take a quick break, and we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and continue here talking story with Thomas MacKay after he gives us this quick demonstration about the vibraphone.
And thank you, Latin Connection, for giving us the opportunity of inviting all of our people out there to come to the Hispanic Heritage Festival on October the 15th at MacKay Pavilion in the Ala Moana Beach Park. It starts at 11 o'clock and it's until 8 in the evening, with lots of entertainment, food booths, arts and crafts, culture booths. Just so much stuff, you don't want to miss it. That's the Hispanic Heritage Festival on October the 15th.
Aloha Latin Connection. I'm Dr. Carmen Jimenez, psychotherapist and educator. Are you a victim of domestic violence? If so, you're not alone. Domestic violence is a pattern of abuse associated with control and power against someone's will. Say no to violence. Reach out for help and visit drcarmen.tv for more information on my book, Do You Love Yourself?
Hola Richard, es un gusto estar contigo y con tu auditorio. Muchas gracias por esta entrevista. Efectivamente, el 12 de octubre llega el barco Escuela Cuauhtémoc es el gran velero de la Marina Armada de México. Trae consigo a 200 miembros de tripulación, a 100 cadetes mexicanos. Llegará a las 10 de la mañana del 12 de octubre. Queremos invitar a toda la comunidad latinoamericana a que nos acompañe a recibirlo. A partir de las 11 de la mañana abrirá sus puertas para que la gente pueda subir, lo pueda visitar, platicar con los cadetes, aprender qué es lo que están haciendo, darles la bienvenida, y de la misma forma tendrá sus puertas abiertas hasta que zarpa del puerto de Honolulu. Durante todo el fin de semana estará zarpando hasta el día 17 de octubre. Así es que es una oportunidad extraordinaria para acercarse un poco más a la cultura latinoamericana, a la cultura mexicana, y también que nuestros cadetes y los miembros de la tripulación aprendan más sobre lo que está viviendo la comunidad aquí en el estado bellísimo de Hawái. Es un barco muy interesante, es un barco enorme, es un gran velero, fue construido en el año 82, partió, está cumpliendo 35 años justamente, y además estamos nosotros celebrando el aniversario de la Constitución mexicana, son 100 años de la Constitución, así es que es un velero que está haciendo un viaje extraordinario, está haciendo un viaje por todo el planeta, está dando la vuelta a todo el mundo, llevando un mensaje de buena voluntad, un mensaje de amistad, un mensaje con el que queremos estar mucho más cerca de nuestros amigos, y en especial de nuestros amigos de Estados Unidos. En particular, el estado de Hawái es un gran amigo, un gran aliado de México. Compartimos con el estado pues el Océano Pacífico, bello, inmenso, y también tenemos el orgullo de tener a muchos latinoamericanos viviendo en el estado de Hawái, contribuyendo enormemente en muchos aspectos en la vida de este estado. Así es que estamos muy contentos con que el velero Cuauhtémoc, este buque escuela de la Marina Armada de México, haya escogido como uno de los puertos para hacer este viaje pues la ciudad de Honolulu. Previamente habrá estado en Japón y posteriormente irá a Los Ángeles. Así es que pues los invitamos a todos a poder estar ahí muy cerca. Déjame decirte con mucho orgullo que, cumpliendo uno de los compromisos que hicimos cuando asumimos esta responsabilidad, pues fue el de estar mucho más cerca de nuestras comunidades hispanas, latinoamericanas, mexicanas en el estado de Hawái. Gracias.
Aloha and welcome back to Latin Connection. How we can get in contact with Vibra Cubana?
People can get in contact with me and Vibra Cubana via my website, www.MacKay.net.
Aloha, thank you so much for watching Latin Connection. We're going to leave you with the sound of Vibra Cubana.